Hello everyone, this video is sponsored by Mahmood. I am libraries. Today we are tackling the two biggest mountains in health data science. For example, if you want to build a digital health tool, let's say an AI powered medical assistant application that helps patients book appointments and track symptoms, and you have we say it's AI powered and you can do medical triaging using this app. Okay, you have to prove two very different things. First, you are proving efficiency, and second, you are driving engagement in digital health. Look at this slide. On the left, we have the microscope, the clinical world, and on the right, we have the smartphone, the software. You can say the software world. Okay, our job today is bridging clinical validation with user engagement. If your app is medically perfect but no one opens it, it fails. If your app is incredibly popular but clinically useless, it is dangerous. And we have to build the bridge between the two. Okay. To build the bridge, we have to understand that digital health requires mastering two opposing disciplines. On one side of the triangle, we have clinical validation, which is simply proving it works. To do this, we are utilizing medical research standards like randomized controlled trials. You are likely very familiar with this from your medical trial training, okay? But on the other side of the triangle, we have user engagement, which is making sure that people actually use it. To do this, we are utilizing modern product analytics and retention frameworks. Software developers use these frameworks to keep you hooked on social media. We have to do marketing. We are going to learn how to use them to keep patients hooked on their own health. Both two things are important. Let's dive into the pillar one, that is clinical validation and evidence tiers. Okay, before we worry about where users tap on screen, we are establishing the clinical foundation. This is about that proving to doctors, regulators, and patients that your algorithm actually improves health outcomes. Without this foundation, your software is just a toy. For example, if we are building a medical triaging app that is AI powered, we have to prove doctors that it asks questions and follow up questions, and it do all these things correctly. And in medicine, not all data is created equal. The hierarchy of truth determines how much trust to place in study. Let's walk through these 5 levels from top to bottom. Level 1 is synthetic reviews and meta-analysis. This is the gold standard. It involves, for example, combining multiple high quality studies to give us a definitive answer. The second one is randomized controlled trial. These are experimental studies testing on intervention against a control. For example, if our medical triaging app gives dietary advice, we test it against a group not using the app. Okay. The third level is the cohort studies. This is observational tracking over time. For example, observing smokers versus non-smokers over a decade to see who develops disease. And the level 4 is the case control studies. This involves looking backward at people who already have a conditions to find common factors. And the last level 5 is case reports or expert opinions. This is the lowest tier. It is based on individuals' experiences rather than broad data. Just because a famous doctor thinks an app is good doesn't mean we have the data to prove it. So the question is, why do we insist on level 2 for our software? Level 2 is what? Level 2 is randomized controlled trials. Okay. Randomized control or aka RCT is a controlled experiment explicitly designed to minimize bias. If, for example, if a patient downloads our app and their blood pressure drops a month later, was it because of our app? Or was it because the weather got warmer and they went for more walks? Random chance plays a huge role in health. When testing a new health app, this methodology is required to definitely prove that the app itself caused the health improvement. look at the anatomy of the randomized control trial. How do we apply this to our app? Randomization. First, this means assigning participants by chance to ensure similar starting groups, like half get the app, half do not. The second step is binding. Single bind means the participant doesn't know their group. Double bind means neither the participants nor the researcher knows, and in software, double binding is notoriously difficult. A patient usually knows if they are using an app. And the control group, this is the baseline group. In digital health, they might receive a placebo, like a dummy app that just shows the time, or they receive the standard of care, like standard printed pamphlet from their doctors. And the endpoints, the predefined outcomes being measured. We must decide before the trial starts if we measuring weight loss, blood pressure, or hospital readmissions. Now we shift to pillar 2, that is user engagement and the leaky bouquet. You have proven your app works clinically, for example. Congratulations. But now you face the brutal reality of the software world. Getting a user to download the app is easy. Getting them to stay is the hard part. Imagine your app is bouquet. Marketing and doctor recommendations pour water user into the top of the bouquet. But if your app is confusing or boring, there are holes in the bottom. You can see the user leak out just as fast as they pour in. To fix those leaks, software engineers use something called the R funnel. This is how we start tracking drop off. For example, think of it like mapping a patient's journey through a hospital, but digital. Okay. The first is acquisition. The user, which means the user downloads the app, they found it on the app store. The second one is the activation. This is the argument. Okay. This is when the user naturally sets up their profile and understands why the app is helpful. The third step is retention. The user comes back repeatedly. We measure this as daily or weekly active users. The third is referral. Fourth one. The user tells a friend or family members about the app. And the fifth is the revenue. Finally, the user subscribes or pays for a service. Okay, so I want to focus heavily on step 2. Activation relies on the argument. Activation is basically the pivotal transition. It happens the exact moment the user realize the product's value. If a patient, for example, downloads our app, opening it is not enough. The moment is when they successfully book their first doctor appointment through the app or complete their very first health log. At that specific second, their brain says, "This means my life easier." If they never reach that moment, they will delete that. They will never use it. And so, measuring the leaks requires specific metrics. In the clinical world, we measure blood panels. In the software world, we measure retention curves. Cohort retention, this is the percentage of users who started on day 0 and are still active on day 30. This metric is crucial because it proves if the app provides long-term value. The churn rate, this is the opposite. It is the percentage of users who stop using the app in a given period. High churn indicates your bookie as a whole, and if your day 1 churn is 80%, your onboarding process means broken. Okay, so finally we have to look at the valuing the user and the speed of the delivery. First, we calculate lifetime value, aka LTV. This is the total revenue expected from a single user. Why do we care about that? The answer is because this dictates exactly how much money can be spent to acquire them. If a user brings in $10 over their life, we cannot spend $15 on advertising to give them to download it. Second is time to value. How long it takes for a user to reach their moment. Are there 20 confusing screens to click through before they can log their symptoms? If the timeline is too long, user will quit during the onboarding process. Speed is everything. So, to wrap up today's concept, remember the golden rule. Algorithm requires engagement to deliver impact. Your evidence tiers ensures the underlying algorithm is clinically sound, that is your science. But your retention funnel ensures the interface is engaging enough for patients to actually benefit from that algorithm. That is your art. You cannot be successful health data scientist without respecting both sides of the equation. Now it is your turn to apply the frameworks to a specific health product for your assignment. And I want you to choose an application pathway for a specific health app idea. You have two choices. Option A, that is design a mock RCT portal detailing your binding and control group strategies, or option B is design a detention strategy defining exactly what the movement is and how you will reduce time to value. Pick the one that challenges you the most. Thank you for your time today.